Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Formula 7 and the realistic division. Round 3. Okay, so we're at Bahrain International Circuit and we have 18 drivers in at the moment. I think there's a few that's yet to join. Could be wrong. Hopefully they do come in because then we'll have a full grid. Anyways, we have a full qualifying session, then followed by a 50% race. So without further ado, let us get into qualifying. I'm looking forward to today. I mean, I don't want it to repeat like the first two rounds where Reese gets binned off or has his own moment and Ben getting second and having a weird up and down race as well as Lewis and Fanfin winning. Let's have a little bit more of a battle. I want to see Nick up there. I want to see Lewis battling it for the win. Epic OJ maybe as well. We got a few big names out there. As we do have what the hell? Wait, what? Hold on. Okay, so I am live on the F7 channel. Good. That's fine. Anyway, that was weird. Anyways, so let us get into I can't. We have an Alpine there first, and that's going to be Nick Dew. Finally, the Alpine full-time driver joins us as they both missed round 1 and round 2. Are you lagging or is it Nick, mate? What? Huh? Who? Wait, what? Who's lagging? Let's see. Nick. What Nick? Oh yeah, the other Nick's not in. Let's see. No, Nick looks fine, mate. It looks fine to me. To be fair, let me go quickly just double check something. Okay, that's fine. I'm getting tags on Discord now. Yippee, what's going on? Anyways, we are on a very loud lap, my god. Let me get off board. Anyways, we're on board with Nick Dew heading in towards turn 5 and turn 6. Obviously, with the first car being out on track, he will set the fastest sector 1 as we go all the way down towards the hairpin at turn number 9. As we go all the way up the hill towards the detection zone and then in towards turn 9 and turn 10. Nice. Very weird braking zone, easy to go wide and invalidate a couple times, maybe during the race, as we see now Nick onto the second DRS straight, heading down towards turn number 11, a nice long left-hander, then quickly in towards a turn 13, in towards turn 12, a nice flowing right-hander up the hill towards the peak here in Bahrain, as we go back down the hill towards turn 14. Let's see what the Alpine can set. It's a 115 heading down towards the final two corners as we go in towards turn 14. Around 14 and round 15 and up to the line. Nick Dew with a 129.362, and I think I just heard somebody join the call there. Was that maybe Nathan? It was Nathan. Hi Nathan.
How are we all?
Welcome in, mate. Finally good to see you join us.
Yeah, I'm free. I'm collecting stats, so I thought I'd just join you on comms and help you out.
Oh, good.
I'm just setting up.
I also do it. I'm doing brilliant, man. I'm doing awesome.
Good. In Q1, I'm just setting everything up.
Ooh, CJ with a 123.537. Good lap time from the Red Bull, about 5, 7, 8 tenths quicker than Nick Dew in the Alpine. Not bad. It's gonna take me a second to get warmed up, Nathan.
Yeah, no problem. Not a bad time by CJ in the Red Bull, and then obviously Nick Dew in the Alpine, Super Tube in the Williams. Todd Joe sort of the reserving in the Williams. But we've got the V-cab of Zora Ward. I think they are currently on a lap. Just... yeah, coming up towards... oh no, he's cut right over the corner. I think he's just on another cool down lap. So, Todd Joe on the mediums will be the next driver. He's just coming, so I think it's turn 11. I'm just getting the track map up.
He's coming around turn 14 and wait, Zora, yeah?
What's that, sorry?
I wasn't paying attention, Zora.
Zora invalidated.
Ah, right, okay.
Oh, it was turn 11. You know what? So, Todd Joe coming out of turn 15. Oh, he's going into the pit lane. So we've got no drivers on laps in Q1. Remember, Blaze Hunter does have a qualifying ban. So that means only currently 3 drivers will be eliminated in Q1. We do have Forza Ferrari now on a lap in the Williams. A bit of a Oscar Piastri news this evening regarding Forza Ferrari. Should have gone to Alpine. Said, I'm not going to Alpine at the very last minute. And went over to Williams. So... on the way down to turn 11 with that DRS open around turn 11, then it's slightly uphill the elevation around here in Bahrain, and then just hugs the apex around turn 12 and in towards turn 13 as he just feathers the throttle through there, and then down towards turn 14 we go, heading towards that DRS detection zone.
There we go. Right, I was just doing a little audio fix. Anyways, we got Forza coming up to the line now. What's he going to set in the Williams as he comes across the line? And it's a 130.426. The Alpine just behind him goes into the pit lane. We do have, I believe, Mirko just about to cross the line to start his first flyer lap. Let's see what the V-Carb can do. On the way down towards turn 1, he activates the DRS. Heading all the way in towards the braking zone. Just about braking at the 100 board in towards turn 1 and then in towards turn 2 very shortly after as we come around turn 3 next with the DRS opening on the exit as we go towards turn 4.
Yeah, Mirko's been really performing in the last few weeks in that V-Carb. We know how good he can be as he comes around turn 4 and then he goes into the S's now in sector 2 for in turn 5, 6 and 7. Just full throttle through there, just easing off the pedal ever so slightly as we go in towards turn 8, slamming them brakes on and then back in. A very tricky part of the circuit. CJ3000 goes even quicker. That should safely get him through to Q2 with 10 minutes of this session remaining. He's got a little bit of traffic in front of him here, Mirko, as he goes back down the DRS straight. Is the traffic going to move? They do move. And I think that was his teammate. Great teamwork from the V-Cabs there as Zora Ward gives him a little bit of a helping hand. Not as if Mirko needs it, but he will take it.
Yeah, Mirko sets a purple sector 2 as we go round turn 13, heading down sector 3 as we do have only 2 corners left as we've got a little bit of traffic getting out of the way on the way down towards 14 and 15. Just braking about 75 metres and in through 14 and 15. We're going up to the line now on board with Mirko as he activates the DRS for the final time, and across the line it's the 393.
Not a bad lap, and the thing is now, Banana, he can now help his teammate. Zora War is on a lap, and Mirko is probably going to give him slipstream all the way from turn 3 to 4. He is. Here comes Zora War, and Mirko is going to give Zora War that slipstream all the way down to give him that extra bit of horsepower, and then moves out of the way. Very nicely done from the V-Cabs.
Yeah, it's going to be at least 2 tenths gain down that DRS zone as we go through sector 2 now and through 5 and 6. It's purple sector 1, sorry, for Zora as we go in towards the hairpin at turn 8. As we do have only 2 corners till a DRS zone. Can he gain a little bit more time heading down that? Maybe he's using a little bit less downforce and more straight line, maybe?
Yeah, potentially. Sorry, I thought my mic was muted. So that's... Sorry, let me jump back on board. I was losing track of where we were. So Zora 1, turn 11 we go. Reese is in before the end of Q1. So the Ferrari driver. And I tell you what, Ferrari's going to look strong this evening. You've got Maxi Block and Reese in the Maranello team. Zora War down to turn 14. He's gone purple sector 2. It'll be interesting to see where he puts this. So back on the throttle, down towards the line. Here comes Zora. And he's lost a load of time through sector 3. Wow.
Yeah, that's 29.960. That's at least about, what, 6/10 slower than his teammate is. That was, I believe, Jeffy Boy going third fastest, 28.511 as the other Red Bull finally comes across the line. As we do have a Haas next up. Is that Jay's? No, it's not. It's going to be Jack ready for his next lap. The Aston Martin of Epic OJ is not on an improved lap, and Janodi is on an outlap. Ooh. Let's see what Janodi can do later.
Fanfitness is on a lap as well in the Mercedes. He's just on his way down to turn 11. And Fanfitness, who is the championship leader at the moment, the AMG team. So here comes the Mercedes up towards turn 13 in sector 3. The Dutchman has dominated already this season. Can he continue it here in Bahrain as the sun sets? He's gone purple sector 2. 7 minutes of Q1 remaining. And Forza coming to the final chicane at turn 14 and 15 down towards the line. That was Jays who went up to P4 in the house. But here comes Fanfiners and he goes quickest by 3 tenths.
Great lap from the Mercedes. As I think that's one of the V-Carbs coming up next. I don't know if... No, Zora's not on a lap. One of the McLarens is next, actually. It's Lewis W. heading down towards turn 14 and turn 15. Now, Lewis had a pretty tricky second round, as he didn't exactly finish where you'd expect. But hopefully he'll get a good one here, as he does! He goes top of the charts! Wow! Lewis, 128.131 from the McLaren. His teammate B-Right just behind him, so maybe we'll see the two of them working together, heading somewhere around this track.
Great lap from the Papaya, and Maxi Block is going to be the next driver to the line. So the Scuderia driver, can he match anything that Lewis W has done yet? Only 2 100ths separate the top two, which is Mercedes and McLaren, and then Red Bull and Aston Martin. But here comes Maxi Block. Sector 2 is purple for the Scarlet Ferrari of Maxi Block. So here comes the Belgium driver down towards turn 14, and then back onto the throttle, keeping control of the Ferrari down towards the line, and it is 6
28.543. Not bad.
Top 6.
Yeah, very short times there as the other Ferrari of Reece starts his first lap here in qualifying. We do have the Haas of Jays heading into the pit lane. And is that Janodi in the Kick Sauber about to do a lap? It might be, as we see Janodi head around turn 14 and turn 15. Just grazing the white line there on the exit. And across the line the Sauber goes 17th, 130.1653. Oh.
It'll be very hard for that Sauber to get out of Q1 here with the straight line speeds of some of these cars. But here comes B Right into the final chicane. So B Right, the current world champion, coming down towards the line, and he goes fastest and shows exactly why he is the world champion with 5 minutes to go here in Q1. And Red Wildfire redeems Super Max 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 Super Max Max Super Max 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 Super Max. So B Right and Lewis, the Papayas, are 1-2 in Q1. Reece in the other Scarlet Ferrari is just coming up towards turn 13. This is the driver that the McLaren team will be watching. All eyes on me. Here comes Reece down towards turn 14. Is he going to show his pace early on? He's not going to be waiting around. And the Maranello team, eager with anticipation to see what Reece can do, and goes fastest by nearly 1/10 of a second.
Yeah, that's an amazing lap from Reece. Just edging out there, be right. Is Maxi Ball coming around the final corner. I don't think Maxi's on a lap. Yeah, he's not. He's about to go into the pit lane. And I think that's going to be it for those that are on track at the moment. We do have Forza back out on an outlap, so maybe keep an eye out for him. Maybe he can try and get out of that bottom 5 to go into Q2.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting bottom 5. Zora War is at the moment eliminated, so he will want to do something. Jack is very close to Mitch and Merkel. So the V-Carbs at the moment in Q1 just struggling, but the pace, if you look from P10 all the way down to 15, it's 3/10 of a second. So any little bit of improvement on your lap will be the difference between you going out in Q1 and you going into Q2.
Exactly. As now we see Forza starting his probably final lap here in qualifying, heading down towards turn 1 and 2. Here's a few of the the two V carbs actually coming out of the pit lane. He's going round turn 2 and then round turn 3, heading all the way towards turn 4 and then in towards sector 2 as the Williams goes through turn
Forza
4.
Ferrari, yeah. Coming through turn 4 on the way in towards sector 2, the Williams driver. And he's already 1.5 tenths down through sector 1. He's struggling in that Williams.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of chatter from the Williams of Super Turbo, but Turbo has said that the car feels good, but is at the same time it's slow. So maybe making a setup around that and try to make it a little bit better in the straight line, but still having enough cornering could help that Williams get back into that top 10.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of drivers. The most competitive time of this qualifying I can see being in the next sort of 1.5 minutes. In terms of the Alpine, the Williams, the Sauber, the VCAB, the Haas, all just fighting just to get into Q2. And Forza Ferrari is going to be the first of them runners, and he's backed out. I think he's backed out, so it's going to be Toggio, who's just started his lap. He needs to find around 8 tenths to try and get out of this Q1 phase.
Round about that, yeah.
Yeah. But the top 8 aren't even interested in this Q1 session now. They won't waste any more tyres.
Anyways, we see Tojo heading in towards turn 8. I'm sorry, Nathan, it's a little bit of this. It's been a hot minute since I've done duo comms, and especially with one yourself, because last time we did it was gold, and
yeah, exactly, mate. I can't wait for the race. It should be a cracker.
Hopefully. Tojo now round turn 11 and then in towards turn 12. Hopefully the Alpine can just put in that time ahead of Jack, ahead of maybe Mirko, maybe Super Turbo. Maybe a stretch, but it's still there. Super Turbo actually goes 10th fastest, just ahead of Vixen.
That is a great lap from Super Turbo in that Williams. So it is going to be Toggio. Here we come in the Alpine. Is he going to be able to get through to Q2? This is going to be really close for Toggio in the Alpine. And he's not made it. Blaze Hunter with that qualifying ban is out. Forza Ferrari and the Williams is out. It's down to Zora Ward, Gennady, Jaxi is also on the lap. The V-cabs are coming around. It's going to be Zora Ward first. So is he going to be able to get through Q1? Here comes the Visa Cash App Racing Bull of Zora. And he is up to P11, and now it is Mirko in P14. Jaxi is down up to P11. The two V-cabs, 11 and 12. It is Gennady, and the Mercedes as well is also. That is Vixen, but technicality says that Vixen is safe. So is Super Turbo. Nick Drew and Mitch are the drivers at risk. Jaxi, and there is another Alpine. I think that is Nick Drew, who is 2 tenths up, coming down towards the line. So this will be interesting to see what sort of pace Nick Drew can set. Down towards the line he goes, and the Dutchman up to P13.
Yeah, now we've got Jaxi heading down towards turn 14 and turn 15. That's currently in that bottom 5. If he can put a good lap here, he will be through to qualifying too, as he just has a little bit of the battery left up to the line. What's it going to be for Jack as he goes 15 fastest? Is it enough for Jack though? We've got Mitch going across the line. He goes 10th fastest. Jack is out in qualifying. And is Gennady going to get out in qualifying here? Or will he make it through? Gennady crosses the line. It's only 19th for the Dutchman.
So that is it. Vixen can settle down. It is Blaze Hunter, Gennady, Forza Ferrari, Toggio and Jaxi in the Haas that go out. And the difference in pace is less than half a tenth between Super Turbo and Jaxi. The Williams looked like they were going to be strong, but my God, did they struggle in Q1. But Super Turbo will take absolute plaudits in getting through Q1. That's a great lap from Mitch in the Sauber, by the way, up to P10 beyond. Fantastic stuff from Mitch. And we've seen what sort of pace he's shown in Tier 1 on Sunday. I think he qualified P2, so he's definitely coming into his element now and showing that Sauber isn't just there to make up the numbers.
Yeah, also seen Jays get P9 there as well, so maybe the Haas has, maybe the Haas has got something here in Bahrain. As we go on to the results of Q1, it's Reese who tops the times, as Be Right on P2, P3 then for Lewis W, and 4th for Fanthin as the championship leader. Not getting up there next to Ben. Maybe we'll see something happen down the order. As we go down to the bottom 5, once again, it's Blaze Hunter, Ginaudi, Forza, Tojo, and Jack C, all out in Q1.
So the Williams on the way out of Super Turbo just scraped through into Q2, and he will be the first driver out on track. Also Jays as well in the Haas is out, but he's on his, I think most drivers actually are out on their used soft compounds from Q1. So no driver is out on fresh softs just yet. So we'll see the times definitely get quicker during the next 13.5 minutes. But Super Turbo will be the first to set his benchmark here in Bahrain as the sun begins to set, the lights begin to sparkle, and this is where the drivers can start to shine. So Super Turbo just coming around turn 13 and down towards 14. And we will ride on board with him and see what he can do in that Williams car. I'm just wondering, I thought Turbo had a full-time seat.
He does.
Realistic. Who does he race for?
Williams.
Oh, is he actually a full-time driver for Williams?
Yeah. Well, Jack Hash just dropped him and he didn't get a seat.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. I thought he was still part of the Ferrari family for some reason.
Nah, Reese kind of dropped him, brung him Maxi, and then I kind of said I may or may not said a few words to Turbo and said hopefully you can have a seat at Merck, and he ended up getting Williams. At least he's got a seat now, you know what I mean? We've had a lot of drivers drop out from last season.
I'd be surprised if he didn't get to sort of race in Merck at some point this season. But
he drove in McLaren in round 1.
Got the pace. He did, you're right, yeah. So Super Turbo down towards turn 10. This is where that DRS will kick in. Epic OJ, what's just happened with Epic OJ?
That's what I'm taking.
So Super Turbo down towards turn 11 as that rear wing closes. Maximum, thank you so much, mate. 23 months. Really appreciate that, mate. Turbo was very expensive, Salute. I'd have probably looked at Super Turbo. I didn't think I could afford him, but I could, to be honest. And then both my drivers ended up leaving, which was absolutely fine. And then I ended up with CJ and Jeff. So it was all good in the end. But here comes Super Turbo in towards turn 14 and 15, and then down towards line, runs a little bit wide there just to keep the pace down to the line. Super Turbo 129 seconds.
Oh, and Jay's there in the Haas, 29-1. And then CJ just beats that with a 28.8. Wow.
Good stuff.
Great lap times coming in now.
Yeah, on them used tyres as well. Nick Dew in the Alpine will be the next driver to the line. Rio Harris, how we doing, mate? Mercedes 1-2 inbound. It's realistic performance as well. So, Nick Dew in the Alpine, coming around turn 12 up towards 13, in towards sector 3. And he just flings the Alpine car around turn 13, just gripping hold of that steering wheel. And Nick Dew, who is a former championship contender, down towards turn 14 and 15. And now he can just go pedal to the metal. Nick Dew, where's he going to put it? It's a 1:29.6 behind the Haas.
Not a bad lap time from Nick as Vixen's about to start his next lap. We do have a few more drivers coming up to turn 14. Merkel has invalidated his teammates on an outlap, and the rebel in the middle of him is Jeffy Boy. Let's hope for Jeffy to set a good lap here, as I think that's behind him of the Williams and Super Turbo, who goes into the pit lane. And let's see who's on a lap now. I think it will actually be Vixen. Vixen. On board with the Mercedes of Vixen, heading around turn 4 and in towards sector 2. We go round turn 5 and 6 is purple sector 1 for Vixen. Maybe starting to cook. You did say that the car was feeling a little bit horrible around here, but maybe there's a little bit of pace here for Vixen in Q2 as we go down towards turn 9 and 10. And then past the detection zone, round turn 10, and then activating that DRS. Heading all the way down towards turn 11.
Yeah, DRS disabled. He just throws it to the left-hand side. This is where Vixen can sort of get into his rhythm now. I think he's more, with him leaving his tier 2 seat, the concentration is more into realistic now. So probably hoping for a better qualifying as he goes down towards turn 14. So the Mercedes driver, he's got a lot of battery left to burn as he goes down towards the line. The times is going to be in the 29s. It's a 1:29.2 and it's up to P3.
Behind massive Jays. We did see him behind Jays in Q1, so maybe that's something to say as Zora goes 5th fastest. The Rebel of Jeff Boy tops the sheet with a 1:28.8, only 7 hundredths ahead of his teammate of CJ. As the McLaren of Lewis W's on outlap, just about to start his next one, as is Maxi as well, and Fanfinus is there's a little bit of lap traffic there. Fanfinus is I think the V-carb of Merkel, just getting in his way ever so slightly as we're on board with Fanfinus. And now we do have Maxi Block just ahead of him, as well as a Kicksauber of Mitch, who's on an outlap.
Rio Harris, OJ's raced here for a very long time. So Maxi Block in the Ferrari coming around at turn 12. Let's see what the Scuderia driver can do as he's reserving in that Scarlet Ferrari this evening. Usually a full-time Haas driver. Down towards turn 14. And the way that red car just glistens under the spotlights here. Out of the final chicane, down towards the line we go. Here we go, and it's Maxi Block fastest at 1:28.1.
Fanfinus only managing P2 there with a 1:28.555. We do have the 2 McLarens yet to come up as well, so maybe we'll see a little pace from them, as we do see as well Vixen invalidated it. Well, Jeffy's just giving
Ferrari and Lewis W now.
The Ferrari Lewis W there, Nathan.
Yeah, down towards turn 14 it goes the Papaya. He's got his teammate just coming through sector 2. And now what can Lewis W in Q2? What can he do? Down to the line, it's a 1:28.4. He goes up to P2 and now on board with B Right, the current world champion. As B Right hits the final chicane, moves to the right hand side, just throws it in. And then back onto the accelerator towards the start finish line, and he goes fastest with a 1:28.0.
Great lap time from Ben, just to edge Maxi block there, but we do have Reese out on track on a lap. But first is Mitch in the kick Sauber, round the final corner, up to the line. What's the kick Sauber going to set as he crosses it? P11, 1:29.668.
So not fast enough to get into Q3 just yet. Talking of the V-carbs though, here comes Mirko, and then it is Reese behind him in the Ferrari. It'll be interesting to see what sort of lap times these set, as Zora War and Nick Dew are just scraping into Q3 at the moment. But for how long? Here comes the V-carb of Mirko to the line. He goes up to P9 and pushes them down, and then Reese in the Ferrari. So that was Maximo going into the pit lane, but Reese is on a lap. So Reese down towards turn 13, purple sector 2 once again for the driver that finished P2 in the Drivers' Championship and won the Constructors with McLaren last season. Left McLaren, joined Ferrari, and now he's trying to do it all up again. His trophies arrived in the post just today, and here comes Reese, and he's picking up a slipstream from a Red Bull driver in front and up to P3, a 1:28.3 for him.
Wow, Reese not topping the timings yet. Ooh, could that be unused?
16% up softs on that lap.
Ooh. So yeah, Reese will definitely take pole if he gets a fresh set on and back out into the track. But P3 nonetheless, it's a great lap from Reese on used. As just behind him is CJ3000, just overtaking him now. As the Kickstarter of Mitch will cross the line, but he's going into the pit lane, I believe. Yep.
And CJ has invalidated it. Mirko's on down lap, so is Reese, so nobody is on a flyer now with 4 minutes to go.
Ah, well.
Very optimistically speaking there, Forza, but I like the confidence.
To be fair, Reese did say he was a tier 3 driver at one point, didn't he?
He did. I agree, to be honest. The guy's washed. So was his team principal, but hey. His team principal is a Constructors World Champion and a Drivers World Champion, and I've got a funny feeling he's also going to win Constructors this season as well.
Not far to say about it. I mean, to be fair, Nathan, you could also be up there with Jeffy Boy, maybe CJ3000.
Ah, they're slower than me. So, CJ is now on a flying lap. Red Bull driver currently in P7, which is definitely at risk here, especially with the drivers behind. B-Right calls it a day in Q2. So here we go, CJ3000. Let's ride on board with him around Bahrain as the sun has set out and the moon begins to rise. And it's CJ3000 going towards Yetis at turn 5, 6 and 7. Rides the curve beautifully executed through down towards turn 8 at the right-handed head. Just feathering the throttle and then straight back onto it, using a little bit of that battery on the exit of the corner through turn 9 and then slightly downhill as the elevation drops, and you have to be so careful not to lose the back end out of turn 10. DRS enabled, ERS is on, rear wing is open, the Red Bull is absolutely flying down towards turn 11, moves over to the right hand side, rides as much curb as he can, and then slams onto the brakes and then onto the throttle once more around the right hander at turn 12, being careful not to go too far over to the right, and then cuts right over the corner at turn 13, back onto the throttle, burning a little bit more of that battery so he can get back up to pace a lot quicker, and then in towards turn 14 through that DRS detection zone, in towards turn 15, the DRS will kick back in, the battery will be emptied, down towards the line for CJ3000, and it is fastest in Q2.
What an amazing lap from CJ to go fastest than both the championship leader and P2 of B-Right. Wow, great lap time. Only what, 600, sorry. That's not bad from CJ.
Yeah,
that's excellent.
Lap time. Super Turbo to the line. Oh, he's gone P8. Wow, in the Williams.
Track Evolution is amping up as we do have the Mercedes of Vixen coming around, but that's on an outlap As that's not Zora, it's going to be his Mirko as well. But Zora is on a lap as we go round turn 1 and 2 on board with the V-Carb, heading round turn 3.
I'm just laughing at Al, bro. I think that's CJ4000. He's had an update.
What version are we on now?
Oh, God. He just updates every week.
Oh, well. Anyways, back on board with Zora, heading in towards the hairpin at turn 8 as we go up the hill once again and towards a nice downhill braking at turn 9 and at turn 10 as we go round turn 10 and activate the DRS on the exit as we go all the way towards turn 11 next.
Yeah, V-Carb looking very racy here, but the straight line speed is not great. They need to find something a little bit extra.
Maybe Mirko should give him a setup. I mean,
yeah,
he gives you a setup, so may as well give his teammate a setup, you know what I mean? That or Zora can go watch it. Yeah, I was going to say, if Zora can go watch it on YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, that is literally Mirko's setup. So Zora wore around to 50 and down towards line. The checkered flag has waved. The drivers can do no more. Zora line, and he's P10, but he's at risk of going out. Mirko, so Zora won't do no more. Here comes Vixen. Vixen down towards the line. Out. Super Turbo can do no more. Jay in the Haas. He's going to be next, but the V-Cab and Mirko goes up P9. Super Turbo is the driver at risk. And the Haas of Jay, P9. And then who was that who came to the line? That's Super Turbo. Jay did hit the line. Super Turbo that was eliminated in Q2, so the V-Cab of Mirko is now at risk of going out, but it's Mitch and Nick Dew that will be next. Epic OJ is out, Zoro is out, Super Turbo is out. These are all here, one driver. This is huge. You've got Nick Dew and Mitch next. Here comes the Alpine of Nick Dew, and out of turn 15, down towards the line goes the Alpine. Can he get through? P10. He has knocked another V-Cab out of qualifying, but can Mitch improve? Albert does.
Wow, great lap times from everybody to make it through, and unfortunately we do see Nick, Mirko, Super Turbo, Zora and Epic OG all out in Q2. One more thing I would like to add, Nathan, is every time you try to speak loud, your mic ends up cutting off. It's like you're like...
Oh, does it?
Yeah, it keeps like topping out. I don't know if it's like a setting on your PlayStation or if you're on Discord itself, but maybe have a look around for next weekend and we'll see what can we improve on the quality. Yeah.
That's strange, that, because I've got a really decent mic, so I'm just gonna have a look at it 1 minute and see if I'm doing anything wrong.
So we do go on to the bottom 5. Epic OJ, Zora, Super Turbo and Mirko plus Nick Dew all out in Q2 as we go on to the final showdown in Q3.
If I went onto Discord on my laptop and joined the comms box, would it still be doing comms for the race?
Yeah, I've got it. So like whatever Discord I'm in, right, it'll capture the audio from that, and so yeah, like any device you're on, it'll still capture it.
But then would I have to... I'd have to leave off my PlayStation. Oh, it would leave anyway when I joined.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking... So... Let's see.
Alright, Ben, you gotta do the good now. The family's watching. Right, let's try again, Nathan.
You guys, can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can still hear you fine.
Can you hear me, Banana?
Yeah, we can all hear you.
What, can everybody hear me on stream?
Yeah. Apparently they can also hear you in-game too, which is also a nice surprise.
I've muted my mic now, so they shouldn't be able to.
Mirko, can you confirm? Just report it, David, and we'll have a look at it. Alright, all good, Mirko.
Yeah, now muted. So do I sound better now?
I mean, we need to, like, test it out, like, your loudest possible voice you can. Do lights out at the moment and see what happens.
Yeah, so no worries. What's going on? Ben's mum, how are we? Shout out to the champ's mother. Jay is on a lap. I will try and shout a little bit just to see if it does cut out. So, Jay coming down in towards turn 1 here in Bahrain in Q3. This is where it gets a little bit spicy around Bahrain. Out of turn 3 we go. DRS enabled. Remember, you get 3 DRS zones here in Bahrain around turn 4. And then to the end of sector 1, the start of sector 2, and then we come through the S's 5, 6, and 7. They come at you very quickly. You're just shifting the controls left and right so quickly, especially if you're on wheel. And then out of turn 8, and then down towards turn 9. Very tricky part of the circuit. You can easily lose the back end as he just rides over the apex, and he does have a little snap there. Does the Canadian driver. Down towards turn 11 we go.
CJ now heading in towards 11 round, in towards turn 12 next. Hopefully that little slide he had coming around turn 10 doesn't affect him much on this first lap of his as we go round at turn 13 through to sector 3 now, as we only have 2 final corners here in the Bahrain circuit as we were on board with Jays in the Haas. Down towards 14 now as we go past 14, round 15, and then on to the start finish straight. We activate the DRS just about now as we go across the line on board with Jays. It's a 29.162 for the Haas driver.
That's a great lap from the Haas. So we have a Sauber of Mitch. He's going to be next to the line. If anybody in the chat can just let me know if my mic is okay now, or if it's not, or if I get too loud, if it cuts out, just let me know. Before we do lights out. So Mitch around turn 12 and in towards turn 13. Look how good the cars look now that the sort of floodlights are on and it's just night time. The cars just look amazing. The graphics are incredible. So down towards turn 14 and 15, and that lime green Sauber who has managed to get into Q3. Down towards the line we go. Mitch with a 129. What he's beaten by 1,000 to the second. Here comes Maxi, a 127.7. Jeffy with a 127.9. It is getting very competitive. Here comes CJ and 127.9 as well, the 2 Red Bull drivers. But then Famfin has come through, a 127.8 from the AMG driver. But here comes Reese, and Reese goes provisional pole by half a second.
We now have Lewis W crossing the line into McLaren. He goes second fastest, 4/10 slower than Lewis W. As then we do have Vixen crossing the line in the Mercedes, and he doesn't set a lap. So I'm assuming he's invalidated that final one, as we do see Jay's now entering the pit lane. But B-Right still out on track, trying to improve ever so slightly. Purple sector 2 for the Englishman as we go round turn 13 in towards sector 3 now. And all the way towards turn 14. What can B-Right do? Can he beat his teammate? Can he beat Reese, who currently sits on pole position? B-Right rounds turn 15 up to the line, activating the DRS just for a short brief of time across the line. And it's B-Right P2, 1/10 slower than Reese, who is currently provisional P1.
That is so close. That is really close. is there any drivers now on a lap? No, I don't think there is. That was just the benchmark lap being set. So Sauber in towards the pit lane we go. We'll just head back in and regather the force. But this is really close, especially between B. Wright and Reese, who are going to be at loggerheads all season long. We've seen what happened in China when B. Wright was on a murder charge.
We also seen what happened in Australia.
Yeah.
Like, maybe Reese's unfortune may strike him later on in the season, but we could always, fingers crossed, am I right, Alvaro?
So be right down, back down into the pit lane. 4 minutes to go. They are all getting ready to go for that final run. And you know what? I think B. Wright and Reese, it's going to be really competitive going down in towards turn 1. And B. Wright will have the inside line here in Bahrain as well.
That's if he gets P2.
That's if he gets P2. I think them lap times from Reese and B. Wright will be very hard to get any close to. But some of these drivers always save the best till last.
Epic OJ is asking for an invite, but every time I invite him, it's not. He's not
If
getting it, or it's.
Epic, if you just delete me as a friend and re-add me, Formula 7 Racing, I will send you some invites. Nope, sorry.
Ooh, it's Reese coming at first. Is Reese possibly going to go for a double cooldown lap? Was that you?
Oh, I forgot I added these onto the comms boxes.
Oh, for the soundboard.
Yeah, the radio start
Oh.
and the radio off.
See, I used to have something for Aston Martin last season. But yeah, I made something for Vixen, and I had them record like their own brief radio call. Yeah, that failed very quickly. But well, it was a good attempt.
Yeah, yeah. Big lap coming from B. Right, so a few of the drivers on out laps. The Ferrari is the first driver. Reese is not waiting about. This is going to be really exciting stuff from Reese. So let's drive on board with the Scuderia. So on board with the Ferrari driver as he starts his final lap with a minute to go here in Q3, down towards turn 1, slamming on them brakes really tight to the chicane as you see the DRS about to kick in. Look how much curb that he takes, though. He is on the limit of everything he has to offer. Down towards turn 4 we go with Reese, the Constructors' World Champion for McLaren, now in the red of Ferrari. Through turn 5, 6 and 7 we go. Purple sector 1 for Reese.
Around turn 8 now.
Yeah, take over Reese.
Okay, Reese, yeah, you take over Reese, happily. Round turn 10 now as we go on to the second DRS straight, activating the DRS, heading down towards turn 11. As we've seen Reese getting that purple sector 1. Can he get a purple sector 2 and definitely go faster? And maybe we'll see something surprising. Maybe we'll see Maxi on pole. But anyways, now round turn 12 and in towards sector 3 we go. It's another purple sector for Reese in the Ferrari. Round 13 heading down towards turn 14 and turn 15 to then finish his lap here in Bahrain. The clock has finished and that means all the drivers are on their final laps here in quali. As around turn 15 we go on board with Reese. Up to the line comes the Scarlet Ferrari and it's a 1:27.041 for the Ferrari. As we do CJ now heading in towards 14 and 15. The Haas will be the next one to set a lap as he comes up to the line. What's it going to be for Jays? It's P8 with a 1:28.748. The other Ferrari of Maxi Block is next. That opening the DRS flapping across the line. It's only P4 for Maxi. Lewis W next up. He crosses the line. It's not good enough to get P2 from his teammate. As Fantheris goes P3. And Vixen for his one and final lap here in Q3 goes P8. The McLaren of B right crosses the line. And he doesn't take pole position. Mitch gets P8 in the Sauber, 28.6, out-qualifying both Vixen and Jays in the slowest car. Great lap time from the Kick Sauber there. Wow.
So Jeffy Boy has invalidated it. P7 is going to be at best and CJ slowed down as well. So the two Red Bull drivers on their final runs could not do anything to compete here. It is Reese that takes pole position. There we have it. Reese takes pole here in Bahrain. He will start on the front row. Joining him on the front row is B right in P2. Fanfinis in the Mercedes on the second row in P3. Lewis W alongside him in the McLaren in P4. On the third row, the grid is Maxi Block in the Ferrari in P5 with CJ 3000 alongside him in P6. On the fourth row, the grid is Jeffy Boy in P7 in the Red Bull and Mitch in the Kick Sauber in P8 alongside him. On the fifth row, the grid is Vixen in the Mercedes in P9 and the Canadian driver here in Bahrain in the Haas joining him in P10.
On to the race. How exciting.
Here we go. Oh, no problem. You're absolutely welcome. I thought it was a great message. Ben wanted to put something on there, which I thought was really nice. I think it's amazing, you know, when families support the drivers and stuff like that. It's just great because, you know, especially like drivers, though, you know, they, especially when they're racing in like online and esports. And when a season's like 6 months long, that's a long time to go. And then when you win a championship and you've got parents or brothers and sisters and kids supporting drivers, especially when they're enjoying a hobby like this, I just think it's amazing, especially when they get support from family. Mitch P8 in the Sauber is fantastic nimble. Absolutely amazing. I'm sure that Albro will be looking at that Sauber driver and thinking, should I have put him in one of them Ferraris? But the Ferraris have done really well, Maxi and Reese. Maxi stepping up from that Haas up in to the Scuderia. Oh, that's amazing. This is going to be such a good race. Formation lap, here we go. Let's everybody get ready, tune in. Go toilet, get your brews. We're going to go racing for the next 45 minutes. B-Right will have the inside line on that Ferrari. I really think whoever gets the quickest start here, and Reese has started on the mediums. So Reese has started on the mediums, a tactical choice there. He's the only one in the top 4 to start on the mediums. Open. That's it, Al, bro. Get the old red wine out, get ready. So the two Red Bulls going for different strategies, P6 and P7. I like it a lot. Mitch on the mediums as well, Vixen on the mediums, Jay on the mediums, and then we've got a couple of drivers. Nick Dew on the hards, Mirko on the mediums, Super True on the mediums, Zora War on the mediums, Epic Ojo on the mediums, and then Jack in the Haas on the hards, Todjo on the mediums, Forza on the hards, Gennady on the hards, and Blaze Hunter on the softs. Blaze Hunter in the Aston Martin starting on the softs. That is a very, very strange strategy for the Aston Martin, but if that works out, wow.
I mean, it's going to be very difficult. I know for a fact that this track is a 2-stop. So Blaze choosing the softs might make it a 3-stop. Which could be a very interesting end to the Grand Prix. See if Blaze can gain any positions as we now go on to the grid. Everybody lining up in the grid boxes. Reese will be trying to get away as fast as possible from Ben on the mediums. Maxi also, both Ferraris on the mediums. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, Ben's just outside of his grid box. Anybody else?
Here we go. So, what a start this is going to be. Here we go. This is it for Formula 7 Realistic, sponsored by Rock Solid Rigs. And it's lights out and away we go. B-Right did get a good start on them hards, but Reese cuts him off straight away to get the inside line going down in towards turn 1. And here comes the Mercedes around the outside of the Ferrari. Fanford is trying to take the lead. He has the inside line, has to back out. Reese stays there. Maxi Block is up 1 position. Lewis is down 1. The Red Bull of Jeffy Boy going wheel to wheel with Lewis W as they go towards turn 4. Later on the brakes goes the Red Bull around the Papaya driver. Lewis trying to hold on. It is action back to the start of this Bahrain Grand Prix. The McLaren driver trying to go back up the inside, but it's Jeffy Boy up to P5. Reese is already 8 tenths clear of the Mercedes driver, and that is Zora War going past Jack, and that is Jay, and there's a bit of action at the back. There's Mitch as well, making a move on Nick Dew, and Epic OJ in the Aston Martin is up to 5 places, but now back comes at him is Jay and the V Cabin.
Yeah, an absolute incredible start Reese has gotten here. Now Fanthonus takes 2nd position, and the gap is already more than a second. So if B-Right has any chance to fight Reese, it is needing to get over through on Fanthonus as he goes round the outside in towards turn 13 goes Ben. And he just has to back out, allowing Fanthonus to keep P2. But that gap between P1 and P2 is getting bigger as B-Right re-overtakes Fanthonus for P2, heading in towards turn 14.
Yeah, B-Right back up to P2, no messing around from the McLaren driver, but the gap is 2.5 seconds. Reese is on enough of stratosphere here as he absolutely flies off with no care in the world. Remember, he is on their mediums though, so these drivers will be looking after their tyres a little bit more than Reese as he just burns them away. All the drivers locked in a DRS train from P2 to P20, so nothing to separate them, but that DRS will be enabled. Now, here comes some of the drivers. You've got Fanfonus on the back of B-Right. You've got Super Turbo on the back of CJ. You've got a couple of drivers really chasing them down. But this is really interesting. Jeffy Boy on the back of Maxi, the Red Bull driver, on the back of the Ferrari. And is he going to go down the inside? Here comes Jeffy Boy. Maxi Bot leaves in the room, but he doesn't get the overtake.
Very late move from Jeffy Boy heading in towards turn 8 as we go down towards turn 10 now. Another micro DRS zone as we go back on the power. Jeffy a little slidey coming out of turn 10 as we're back down with the DRS open. Will there be any overtakes? I don't think so. As Reese still leads the way from 2.2 seconds. Wow.
Yeah, he absolutely flew off at the start of this Grand Prix. Like, unbelievable race start. But now it's just calmed down a little bit. Gennady has made a mistake in the kick out, but he's 2 seconds behind everybody. I'm just saying, Blaze Hunter has made up 3 places already. Zora War is on the back of Tojo in the V car, but he needs to get a move on. Super Trubo is all over the rear diffuser of CJ as well, and Mitch is on the back of Merkel, so a lot of action, just no overtakes as of yet. But we're coming back down the DRS straight. Fanfinus on B right, the Mercedes driver on the McLaren, and he's just too far behind. But Super Trubo on CJ, no, and Mitch on Merkel, no, they're so close. But because they're in that DRS,
oh, and there's been a collision. Zora just went into the side of the Alpine of Tojo.
Tojo is round and Zora War is through. Now here comes Forza Ferrari in the Williams, and Zora War tried to block him off, but Forza Ferrari down the inside of turn 4. Zora War holds on, but for how long? Can Forza get the move done? He can't. Into turn 5 we go.
Great battle in between Zora and Forza Ferrari heading up towards turn 4 as we're back on board with the... Oh, never mind. There's actually a little bit of a moment there from Zora that allows Jack to get through. Unless Zora was trying to make an overtake.
Zora went for, yeah, I think Zora went for the dive on Jack, and then Jack just reversed it back on him.
Everything's so close between everybody. There is now a gap between P14 and P15. And there go. Yeah, exactly. Blaze Hunter just allowing Jack to squeeze through there. All the racing room he needed to get that overtake done, and it's up to P15.
Great little battle at the back.
Yeah. The back always surprises me and realistic.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. And obviously Jack's now a bit of a sitting duck for Blaze Hunter behind him because they're going to have that DRS. But Reese has started to slow down a little bit. 2.6 is the gap. RM Hard starting to come into the faster tyre compound. Oh, that's Epic OJ on Super Turbo. He's gone for a really late lunge up the inside of the Williams driver. The Williams holds on, but he's not got. He slipped through that chicane, but so does Epic OJ.
Yeah, Epic OJ got a little bit of missing end plate on the left side of his wing there. It's going to be really tricky to try and get through on Super Turbo through the corners. You just need to do it on the straight and then defend behind, but so far P10 for the Aston Martin's teammate down in P16, and as we do see now Reese gapping Ben. 3.1 is the gap now, so it's getting bigger, but not by much.
Yeah, but he is still opening that gap, which is interesting.
See, I don't understand why Reese has never really tried for esports. I feel like he'd be very successful in it.
Yeah, I mean, esports is just another level. I think Reese would fit into esports level, but that every driver is like a Reese. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like competing against 20 Reeses on track.
I mean, you never know. Maybe he'll like it. You know what I mean? Like, surely he's got to get fed up with winning all the time.
Yeah, yeah. 2.5. He's lost half a second there though.
Yeah, be right
Epic OJ on Super Turbo once again. Super Turbo is not going to have DRS, so here comes Epic OJ. Merkel is through on Jay as well, but Epic OJ into the slipstream of the Williams. The Aston Martin driver around to the right hand side, and the Aston Martin driver is up to P9. Forza Ferrari also getting free on Blaze Hunter, and Blaze Hunter is coming back on Forza.
Yeah, it's a great little battle coming in through turn 1 to 3 as we do even have Mitch try to get through on Jay's, the Haas driver, dropping a few positions from where he qualified. As we go in towards turn 4, Mitch on the inside, the kick Sauber gets through on the Haas driver, and there's, oh, Super Turbo's made a mistake. Super Turbo's dropping down the order now. He's through, Mitch is through on the Williams driver as Turbo drops down to 12th.
Does, so he just slotted back in behind the Sauber and right in front of the Haas of Jay's. And Mitch is now up to P11 chasing down Merkel in the V-carb. So not many overtakes happening. When they're locked in that DRS, it's really tricky. Here comes CJ though on Vixen. The Red Bull of CJ goes up the inside, and the Mercedes driver with the old switcheroo. Can he get it done around the outside of turn 11 as they go uphill? Turn 12. And they nearly touch, but Red Bull on the hard compound tyres is going to be that little bit quicker with that extra grip now on lap 5.
Yeah, not Jeff White. Vixen will have the DRS on CJ just behind. Go round turn 14 and 15 onto the start finish straight. Vixen will open his DRS, but does he have the battery to try and get through on CJ 3000? as Maxi Block gets overtaken by Jeffy Boy for P4. The McLaren of Lewis is slowly creeping up behind Maxi as CJ is all late on the brakes, almost missing the corner there as we go in through turns 2 and 3. Vixen just chilling right behind him, slowly saving that ERS, I would say. But yeah, the gap between Ben and Reese has dropped massively.
I was just about to say that, Banana, 1.6. And if you look at Reese's tyres, 43% wear after 6 laps.
Oof. New tyre was bad, but wow, 40%, that's crazy. You can even see the amount of just a little bit of rubber on his tyres as we go in towards turn 10 now on board with the Ferrari driver. And then 1.5, he will be getting into that DRS shortly.
Jeffy's the same. Well, Jeffy's on 38% tyre wear, so this is a little bit less than Reese. So was Reese pushing excessively? It looks that way, because B Wright is really sort of taking chunks out of that time now, so I think this is going to push Reese into the 2-stopper. Yeah, I don't think he's got a choice here. 1.4, if B Wright gets within this DRS range, it'll be interesting. Yeah, Fanfinus though is a bit too far behind B Wright to get that DRS. Jeffy is on them old mediums, so is Maxi. Lewis W on the McLaren on the Ferrari, up the inside of turn 1. Here comes the Papaya, the Ferrari and the McLaren. They torch and going in towards turn 2. The McLaren has to hold on as Lewis W shoves his way through, and their Super Turbo Mitch are going at it. The Williams and the Sauber fighting for P11. There's nothing to separate them. The Sauber to the right, the Williams to the left, but it's the Williams that has the DRS going up towards turn 4.
Yeah, a lot of battles on this lap 7 of 29, as we do see the gap of Reese to Ben. Still 1.5 at the moment, but that will hopefully get closer and closer, and we'll see a fight between the top 2 eventually. As Jeffy Boy's right on the back of Fanfinus, nothing separating the 2 of them. As Jeffy Boy opens his DRS flap, trying to get the move on Fanfinus, he goes to the left while Fanfinus charges his battery in towards turn 11. Jeffy Boy back into the top 3.
B Wright is within DRS range of Reese. Is Reese going to go medium, hard? That is the question. But B Wright is within DRS range. Fanfinus trying to come back at Jeffy Boy as well. But the McLaren driver has managed, even after Reese's amazing start. I think if Reese wins this race, it will be down to that race start. The way he got that race start. Did B Wright get the DRS? He didn't. He missed out. He dropped too much time on the final corner. And that's exactly what Reese needed to do. Here comes Fanfinus on Jeffy Boy and CJ on Max. And the McLaren is back through on the Red Bull. Maxi is into the pit lane. And that is, yeah, the Ferrari is going for an early stop here. Is he going to go back onto the hards? Yes, so he's going for the undercut.
As Mitch gets through on Super Turbo, heading down towards turn 1. Super Turbo a little bit late on the brakes, almost hitting into the back of the Sauber, but he will get the DRS heading up. He's a massive snap for Super Turbo as Tojo gets through on Maxi Block, who's still coming out the pit lane. Ginoudi just too far behind Maxi to catch up and overtake the driver that's just pit on lap 7. As we now stay on board with Super Turbo, he's just sliding all over the place. He's really struggling trying to keep up with Mitch.
Them mediums are cooked. Super Turbo's mediums are 55%. They are absolutely cooking. The only ones that who's looked after him really well is Mirko. He's on 41% tyre wear to Reese's 59%. And now you can see B Wright in the McLaren really taking chunks out of that time of the Ferrari in front. He's doing really well, Reese, considering how cooked his tyres are to stay where he is. He will be observant as well. He'll know Maxi has gone for the undercut, and I'm pretty sure that Reese will probably follow him in this lap, I would assume.
And he does. He goes to the right and he's into the pit lane. Now B Wright will be the new leader of the race.
Yeah, I think
wow.
The Ferrari team principal will have discussed these strategies with his drivers prior to this race.
The race goes on to the hard compound. We also have Vixen and Epigoji into the pit lane, so this will be where medium runners will be boxing as Vixen into the pit lane goes on to a fresh set of mediums for the Mercedes. What about Epigoji? It's hard for the Aston Martin. Is there's also Super Turbo, who's just come into the pit lane, and he's going to go on to the mediums as well. So it's a medium hard for Super Turbo. There's not much to talk about, except from, well, now they're getting through on Turbo.
Yeah, it's quieted down a little bit. Zora Walk, he's on the back of Reese, but Reese with them fresh hard tyres shouldn't have to worry about the V-car behind them. You've also, the gaps have started to open up a little bit. Jeffy's still behind Fanfamus, but he's on them old mediums. Lewis W on the hards, on the back of Jeffy Boy. I can see him probably making a move at the end of this lap, unless Jeffy Boy goes into the pit lane. And Nick Dew on the hards as well, also chasing down Jay, and Jack also on the hards. So there's a couple of strategies coming into play here. Maxi Block on the back of Todd Joe as well in the Alpine. Remember, Maxi Block has gone for the undercut, but he's still like 8 seconds behind Reese.
It just shows that Reese's true pace, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Maxi Block, I think, is being hindered by the Alpine. He's trying to find a way through, and the Alpine's blocked him off. And Maxi Block is really struggling here. This undercut might not work thanks to the Alpine defensive manoeuvres here. And Maxi Block can't go for the move. He's going to have to wait for the DRS. Otherwise, he's going to have the Alpine battling back on him. So Maxi Block in towards the final chicane. He's been hindered significantly here. And then out of turn 15 we go. And the Alpine goes into the pit lane. Maxi Block gets DRS and moves on through. But where does he come out in comparison to everybody else now? The Red Bull of Jeffy Boy is out of the pit lane, and Maxi Block is way behind him. So that undercut has really hurt him. And there goes Jeffy Boy on Forza Ferrari. The Williams driver tried to hold him up, but Jeffy is through. And Nick Dew on Jack as well.
Yeah, a lot of moves that lap as the pit window has opened for the medium runners. The hard runners still out there battling it on track is B right now 4.2 ahead of Fanfanis. So the championship leader versus the previous champion. Looks to me like it's a quiet race for Fanfanis. He's kind of not the same speed he was round 1 and 2. So maybe we'll see a form later on. Maybe a later safety car could help Fanfanis here.
Yeah, definitely. I think all the teams will be thinking about that. The fact that we've not had a single DNF yet or a big collision yet is brilliant, with it being realistic performance and damage as well. So the question is, Jeffy Boy has come out 3.6 seconds in front of Maxi, and Maxi went for the undercut. This strategy has turned out really poorly for the Ferrari. What about Reese on Nick Dew? And here he comes, and Reese makes the move on the Alpine, and he's got the Haas of Jack in front of him as well. Is he going to go for a 2-for-1? Down the inside goes the Ferrari on the other Ferrari-powered car of the Haas. And the Ferrari family not hindering each other there as Reese goes through and up to P6. Great stuff. Let's go in. And Nick might even try and make a move on Jack as well. The Alpine up the inside. Jack leaves him the space. They go wheel to wheel, the Alpine and the Haas driver. Jack gets a better exit though, and Nick has to stay behind. Maxi Block is through on Forza Ferrari. The Ferrari through on Forza Ferrari. That's a mouthful. And the Williams moves out of the way.
I wonder when Ben will block pitting to the pit lane. Because what? The mediums last 9 laps. 9 9's 18. So, in theory, Ben should box now. So what does the McLaren do? He stays out on the hards. Could Ben go for a 1-stop instead? Well, but Fanfanis stays out as well. Lewis W also stays out. So yeah, most of the drivers on the hard compound may be staying out to the 1-stop. Very interesting strategies from the top 4.
Yeah, I'm just reluctant to see if this would even work. If the 1-stop would even work around here, because the hard compound tyres, you know, you're looking, they're around 45% wear at the moment. So it would be interesting if that did work. That's Joe picking up a time penalty. Forza Ferrari now into the pit lane off the hards. So the first of the hard runners to pit is Forza Ferrari. So is that saying that they're starting to get to that point. But there is a lot of hard runners still out.
And Forza goes onto the medium compound. And he's going to come out just behind Blaze. Does he come out behind Tojo? Side by side in towards turn 1. The Alpine and the Williams go side by side. There's space given. But it's Tojo who manages to get through on Forza.
Yeah, Nick Dew and Jeffy going at it as well. The Alpine driver just holding up the Red Bull there. He did make a move back on Jeffy boy, but Jeffy on the mediums. He's going to go through on the Alpine. And Nick Dew might have to settle in behind him this time. And then he's got the Haas in front of him. Is the Haas going to try and hold him up as well? The Red Bull driver will have to be tactical about this. Obviously, there goes Reese on Merkel. The V car being overtaken by the Ferrari. And Fanfinis is into the pit lane off them hard. Here comes Jeffy on the inside of Jack. And the Red Bull driver makes the move up the inside. And I think he did it after the DRS detection. He did, but the slipstream from Jack. But now the straight line speed of the Red Bull starting to take back off. And he will stay in front now. Fanfinis, where does Fanfinis come out? He's come out right behind Jack, Nick and Jeffy on them fresh mediums. Interesting stuff. Here comes Nick and Jack wheel to wheel. Again, the Alpine and the Haas.
I can't lie, this is massive for Jeffy to get ahead of Fanfinis. This could mean that Jeffy can get P2.
Do you think the strategy will work though? Because Fanfinis is on their fresh mediums now, and we've seen how quick they go off. I mean, Jeffy's mediums are already on 20%. Oh, Fanfinis lunges down the inside of Nick Dew and says, "Out me way, boy, I'm coming through."
Yeah, Fanfinis not messing around. He's wanting to get through the slower traffic as he goes for a nice little move on Jack, heading down towards turn 11. Jack doesn't have the DRS, but Fanfinis does, and Fanfinis pulls out ahead of the Haas in towards 11. And now he's only got one target, and that is to get back ahead of Jeffy boy. Jeffy also on the fresh medium tyres. It's 2.6 is the gap at the moment. Blaze Hunter through on Ginoudi at the back. And both McLaren still out on the hard compound, as well as CJ3000.
I'm just wondering, because Reese has got to go for another stop yet. And I'm wondering if B. Wright and Lewis are able to make these hards last and for the one stop. I think they could win this, because you've got Reese who's 17 seconds still behind B. Wright. B. Wright might lose a second a lap, or even 2 seconds a lap. If he could hold on for another 10 laps, he could then go on to mediums, or even 6 or 7 laps. He could then go on to mediums until the end of the race and only do a one-stopper. So it's going to be very close. Yellow flags are waving. I'm not sure why. Oh, there's a Sauber. That's Ginoudi that goes off, and Tojo is through. And Zora War in the V-cab made a mistake. Forza and Blaze go through. So it was Forza in the V-cab that went round, and now the Alpine of Tojo going to try and make a move on Zora War as well. Just backs out. Oh, and Ginoudi has to slam on the brakes behind Tojo.
Yeah, it was a really questionable move from, I think, Zora there. I think he just slightly moved under braking as Tojo was trying to go for the overtake around the outside, but he closed that door and Ginoudi got spooked and had to go way off course in towards turn 1, but he's managed to keep it. But he's now 1.2 out of DRS for Ginoudi as he's behind Tojo. And speaking of,
with a penalty.
CJ3000 not far off of Lewis's DRS. Can the Red Bull get in it? There's still a massive gap between CJ and Reese though, isn't it? 8.3.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking. He's not making up the time as I would have thought he would on the fresh hards, which is really interesting. And I think a lot of the drivers will be looking at this thinking, okay, maybe this isn't going to work here. So with Reese pitting so early, he's given a lot of data to the other drivers.
Yeah.
Because them 14 lap old hards, the pace on them 14 lap old hards is not too far off the fresh hards of Reese. I mean, Reese last lap was a 1:31.8 and B Wright was a 1:32.0, so it's 2 tenths between them.
Not to mention, if Ben boxes now, he might just come out ahead of Jeffy Boy, But he's still going to be miles off
Yeah.
of Reese. Reese is only 16 seconds off of Ben now. So he's still gained a little bit of time, but maybe it's not enough.
Zora War and Blaze Hunter going at it, and the Aston Martin is through on the V-Car, but will the V-Car get DRS? He will, into the slipstream of the Aston Martin, moves over to the right-hand side, does make the move, and Zora War is ready for war.
As the Aston Martin tries to come back on the V-Car, but on the inside, he just has to back out as Zora keeps P17 and cuts the corner very, very obviously there, ahead of the Aston Martin driver. In towards turn 8 we go. And it's pretty calm now, but it was very messy heading up towards turn 4.
Fanfulness into the slipstream of Jeffy Boy now. So this is where the Mercedes can make the move. Vixen in the other Mercedes already going past Nick Dew, but here comes Fanfulness into the slipstream, DRS enabled, and Fanfulness will move through on the Red Bull and up to P5. Fanfulness is making moves. Here comes the Dutchman. And Maxi Block in the Ferrari is also going to make a move on the House of Jaxie, who just moves out the way for him. And now Vixen in the Mercedes is coming through, and he won't get the same pleasure as Maxi Block did. I can guarantee you that. Here comes the Mercedes. He's going to have to do it the hard way with that DRS enabled, but Jack will also have DRS, and Vixen is absolutely going to be held up by that Haas. Very good teamwork from the Ferrari family as the Haas driver goes out wide, and Vixen might just make the move, goes through on the inside. And Vixen does it the hard way, but it's very enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, Vixen now behind Maxi Block. This could be an interesting swap for position, as Vixen wasn't, I don't think, anywhere near Maxi. I think Maxi was in the top 4, no? I think he was up there next to, like,
yeah.
Jeffy and all that. So now that Vixen has caught up to the Ferrari driver, could this be for position towards the end of the Grand Prix?
So Reese 6 seconds behind CJ now. We are on lap 16 and 29, only 13 laps to go. B-Right's pitted.
Oh, finally.
That's a long way to go on the mediums. Lewis W stays out, CJ stays out. Reese is still 6 seconds behind. But I think Reese will potentially go to the end of this Grand Prix now. Where does B-Right come out? On their mediums. Here comes Fanfulness down the straight. B-Right is on his way out. Here comes Jeffy Boy, Maxi Block in the Ferrari. If he can get in front of B-Right, that would be massive, but he doesn't, and B-Right is out in front of Maxi and behind Jeffy.
Yeah, if Ben's going to go and plan on doing the one stop, it's going to be an interesting finish to see where he comes out ahead of Reese, but that gap to Reese is massive still. He still has to go through Fanfulness and Jeffy Boy, and those two will not be giving up a position that easily. Jeffy Boy runs a little wide out of turn 4. And B-Right now already catching 1.6. It's still going down, actually. Well, okay then.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, if this is me now, I'm staying out on the hards for as long as is physically possible and then going to the mediums right at the last minute. I really am.
Yeah.
And I think that is what CJ3000 is probably going to do, as discussed prior to the race. And the strategies from the Ferraris as well. I think Reese is in a really strong position. I think tactically the team bosses and the two Ferrari drivers would have discussed all the possibilities before the race, and Reese in a great position. He's 5.8 seconds off the lead of this Grand Prix. He knows that Reese has got a pit, and Lewis has got a pit, and Reese knows that these hard tyres last forever.
And speaking
so
of,
he can potentially go to the end now.
Yeah, speaking of Lewis and CJ both box into the pit lane. They two go. Reese will retake the lead of the Grand Prix. Fanfulness will come out in P2. And then Ben try to get the move on Jeffy Boy. He does get through on the Red Bull driver. And up to P3 goes Ben.
He does, and Nimble no, Reese has gone mediums hards.
Oh, Ben's missing an end plate.
Oh, Ben is missing an end plate. Are you sure?
Yeah, he's missing his right end plate.
It doesn't say he's got damage on mine, but he is. He's missing an end plate. Wow. Has that happened when he was fighting with Jeffy and I think he was fighting with another driver? There's a yellow flag. There's a kick Sauber. Then he's round. That is Janowed it. He's trying to get back round. Yep, he is back round. Janowed it.
So it won't be a safety car nor virtual. Oh, Fanfulness very slidey.
That could cost the McLaren driver the race win. And Blaze Hunter and Zora going at it again. And Super Turbo wants a piece of the action. Here comes the Williams driver on the V-car. But it was Zora War that got the better exit. But Super Turbo with the straight line speed. They touch wheels. And now here they come on the right and left of the Aston Martin. The V-car will have to give that position back. The Aston Martin goes
and they
down
all
the
go
middle.
three.
They do touch. And through goes Tojo.
All three
Picks
of them.
up the pieces.
All three of them just went off in the same corner. Unfortunately for Super Turbo getting mixed up in that. I don't think... Who was in the middle there? I don't even remember. Oh, and the Aston Martin just clars into the back of Turbo there. Wow.
Now into the pits. Lewis W did get through on Vixen there, and now does CJ in the Red Bull. And CJ and Lewis are on the back of Maxi Block. Remember, they're on them fresh mediums. Jeffy Boy is into the pit lane, so he is going for the two-stopper. Here comes Lewis W on the Ferrari of Maxi Block. Maxi Block not able to hold him up. CJ 3000 will be next. Jeffy, Vixen, and Epic OJ all into the pit lane. So, and Maxi Block on them 11 lap old hard. CJ and Lewis W in there. Oh, and CJ tries to go through and gets a penalty going off the track there. Was that down to driver error for the Red Bull? Maxi Block making it difficult for the Red Bull driver. Brilliant racing though, hard racing but fair racing as the Red Bull does go through on the Scuderia. And now Lewis is nearly a second clear with that battling of the two drivers behind.
Yeah, and it was, I think that's Epic OJ and Jack C just about to go battling up towards turn 4. Jack has DRS.
Oh, they're going back at it again, mate.
Oh, are they?
Going back at it. Tokyo, Zora, War, Forza, Ferrari, Super Turbo. They're all literally 4 wide, 3 wide. They're off the track again. Zora War picks up a time penalty.
Whoa!
Going through the wall.
How did they save that?
Wow.
Whoa!
Wow. Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy.
I think Red's heart might stop there.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, and he goes up the inside on Zora. Oh no, well, Zora goes up the inside of Tojo there. They're still side by side heading on. There goes the Alpine. He backs out. Oh, never mind. They're both backing out. They're TRS checking.
This is brilliant. They've been battling for so many laps.
Lewis W with the fastest
single DNF
lap.
after 20 laps here. B Wright is only 2.1 behind Reese now as well. So CJ on the back of Lewis W will get the DRS. B Wright is from Fanfinus. Fanfinus with the old switcheroo. The Mercedes driver on the papaya. Can B Wright get his foot down? And he does. And Fanfinus backs out. Good racing from the pair of them. CJ 3000 on the other McLaren. Is he waiting? Impatient. But Reese will want B Wright fighting with that Mercedes as much as possible. But he is on the hunt now with 9 laps to go.
The real question is, what will Reese do?
An unnecessary fine for the V-Cab.
Yeah.
Zora War has a tendency to retire in the pit lane, so unfortunate that.
You would think Red would learn her lesson.
Yeah, really unfortunate for Zora War there. And the V-Cab. Oh, no, there is. Off the 8-lap old medium, so he's going for the 2-stopper. He's going to go fresh medium till the end of this race. Oh, B-Rat's crashed!
The Zora
B-Rat's crashed!
And Reese's wings off as well! Zora's car just came back on track and killed the 2 of them!
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh, Zora, oh, that has ruined the race. Reese has got no front wing. B-Right's got a missing end plate. They've crashed into a V-Cab that's come out of the pit lane. Fanfa's pitted. Oh my god, what has happened here? B-Right is now attacking the Ferrari of Reese. This is absolutely ruined what was turning out to be a spectacle of a race. And Reese cannot catch a break, and Reese goes off the track, and B-Right is through. This is not what you want to see, and you've got to feel sorry for Reese there, who was dominating this race and with a great strategy. The only thing that can really save Reese now is he gets off them hards and onto a fresh set of mediums, because he still has a chance of getting a podium here and just make the most of a really poor decision from the V-Cab.
To be fair, this was reminding me of Charles's luck. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna lie,
it's-
Reese is so unlucky. Round 1, accidentally spins on the way down towards turn 9, then getting tagged out in China by Ben. The slightest bit of contact sent him in the wall, and now this.
And
Wow.
now, yeah, he's been tagged out by a driver that's DNF'd his car in the pit lane for no reason really whatsoever.
Real question is, will Reese rage quit?
The problem is, no, he shouldn't, because he's still on for a podium, and he won't do that to Alvaro. But the thing that I would see now is, as Red, as the team principal of VCAB, Azora Warriors DNF'd the car for no reason, cost them 5 million, and potentially got them a fine as well.
Yeah.
For the incident now with Red Bull and with McLaren and Ferrari.
Yeah, as I'm on board with
Wow.
Lewis W and CJ3000, the two of them scrapping it around turn 4 in towards 5 and 6 now. And Lewis just manages to keep ahead of the Red Bull driver. But yeah, Ben's now
Reece has
slowing
come
down
out
massively.
in P9. Reece has come out 2 seconds in front of the Aston Martin and in 5 seconds of clean racing air. So that's the only benefit of that pit stop, is the fact that he's come out into clean racing air. But I feel so sorry for the Ferrari and for the Ferrari team here, because they were on for a race win. I know it was going to be tight with B Wright. It was going to be a really good battle at the end, because B Wright would have had old mediums and Lewis would have had and Reece would have had old hards. It would have been really close battling, and it's been ruined by a driver retiring in the pit lane. Really unfortunate.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking to myself, Lewis W could hold up CJ3000 for Ben to just continue on driving with this damage, but that gap was 6 seconds. I don't think Lewis can hold him much. So maybe Ben will drop down